All right. All right, boom. So this is gonna be 50 Cent, man. Want another smoke with Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and basically everybody else. You over that Ja Rule uh whole thing. He made a diss track on Jadakiss. I think Fat Joe. uh, Fat Joe as well. Fat Joe as well. Yeah. Fat Joe as well, I think. So hold on, hold on. All right. Okay, boom. So yeah, like I said, man, it's gonna be 50 Cent, one on smoke. Let's get into it.
50 Cent success. He went at any artist that worked with an artist that he ain't like. You know what I'm saying? Including you.
Yeah. So you're not fearful of the backlash that could come from
Backlash of what? See, you know what? You got to have a legitimate opponent to respect them. Fat Joe and Jadakiss, come on, baby. This don't even count.
Jadakiss is a well-liked guy. There's not many people in too many places who doesn't like him.
It's a known rule in hip-hop. 50 Cent doesn't lose battles. Most of the people who went to war with him either faded into irrelevance or ended up behind bars. But there was one exception. Jadakiss.
What's up with that 50 shit, man? Fuck 50, man. 50's a coward. Where is he at?
Not only did Jada lyrically dismantle 50 at the height of his power with one of the greatest diss records ever, but 50 himself eventually pulled up to Jadakiss's block to squash the beef face to face. Let's get into it. The beef between 50 Cent and Jadakiss didn't come from street tension or personal fallout. It was born out of unintended consequences of a much bigger war. By the time Jadakiss found himself in 50's crosshairs, 50 had already spent years locked in battle with Ja Rule. That rivalry, which started back in 1999, became one of hip-hop's defining feuds. Diss records flew back and forth, interviews turned hostile, and fans picked sides. The conflict kept both artists in headlines and helped drive album sales. But by 2003, when 50 released Get Rich or Die Tryin', the public had largely declared him the winner. Ja Rule went from chart-dominating hitmaker to hip-hop punchline, and 50 emerged as the industry's most feared antagonist. Then, in October 2004, Ja Rule dropped New York, a gritty anthem celebrating the city's culture and pride. The track featured Fat Joe and Jadakiss, two respected New York voices who saw the record for what it was.
In a landmark move toward accountability and justice, a former Riverside County Probation Corrections officer who worked at Riverside Juvenile Hall in California has been arrested on suspicion of engaging in sexual contact with a juvenile detainee. Recent legal developments have brought renewed attention to abuse allegations at Riverside Juvenile Hall. Multiple civil claims have since been filed, alleging sexual abuse by staff members and institutional failures to protect youth held at the facility. These actions have drawn public scrutiny to the treatment of minors in county-run detention centers. As a result of these developments, survivors of the alleged abuse may now have the option to check if they may qualify to file a compensation claim. While criminal investigations seek accountability, separate civil actions may seek financial compensation to help survivors address long-term impacts such as medical care, counseling, and trauma recovery. If you or a loved one were detained at Riverside Juvenile Hall and experienced sexual abuse by an officer or staff member, you may now be able to confidentially report your experience and learn more about your legal options. Complete a confidential incident report to see if you may qualify to file a compensation claim, regardless of when the abuse occurred.
EVE Online is a vast universe, alive with the unrelenting activity and combined history of its players. Pursuing lives of adventure, warfare, and prosperity, they share this existence in the biggest single shard free-to-play MMO of all time. Set 21,000 years in the future, EVE takes place in a distant cluster of over 7,000 star systems known as New Eden. It is a rich and diverse universe featuring densely populated havens of relative safety governed by 4 great empires. Hostile systems where player alliances make the rules. Even regions of anomalous and unexplored space that hold their own secrets. You play as a Capsuleer, a revered breed of highly trained pilot, having achieved immortality through the use of cloning technology. You navigate the universe encased in an armored capsule deep within your ship, where you have complete neural control and function as one. There are hundreds of ships to fly in EVE. Everything from small, nimble craft and versatile mid-range vessels to formidable warships and colossal freighters. Each has advantages and suited roles, but all are completely customizable as you decide how to equip and arm them. What you do in New Eden is entirely up to you. EVE's immense sandbox gives you the opportunity to choose between multiple professions and activities. The key to this unique customization of your playstyle is skill training. This is a passive process, and it continues whether you are in or out of game. As a new player, you can focus on one specific area in order to quickly reach the same level of specialization as a veteran. So be adventurous and explore new avenues of development for your character, as you can always change role and reinvent yourself if desired. If you want to fight, combat in EVE can involve solo missions against non-player adversaries, or small group skirmishes, while for some, it can even be the thrill of fleeting up with thousands of fellow pilots and battling over disputed territory. If you want to explore, then the discovery of uncharted space and ancient regions that promise riches, danger, and adventure await you. You can also engage in the business of prosperity, be it industry, mining, or even interstellar piracy. The beauty of life in New Eden is that all of these activities, and many more, can be done alone or with others. A unique in-game market, unprecedented in scale and degree of player control, is the beating heart of New Eden. Players are responsible for the manufacture of almost everything you can buy or sell. The gathering and refinement of resources, the building of ships, equipment, and even some space stations. EVE's players are core to how the universe is filled and how the economy thrives. Players in EVE can band together to form corporations where they can enrich their experience, learn new elements of gameplay, and share their wealth and goals. When these player-run corporations grow to become larger entities, they can merge with other corps to form alliances. Powerful alliances regularly compete for control and influence over large areas of space, waging wars and engaging in record-breaking battles. Even taking down well-defended, sprawling, player-built space stations. In the spirit of exploration and mystery, new content and experiences are constantly introduced into the universe, with over a decade of free expansions leading to continual development and evolution of gameplay. While every action and decision has consequences for the universe and its hundreds of thousands of players, the game remains very much about your unique adventure and story. A story that will forever be woven into the fabric of Eve.
Was a hometown anthem.
Got 100 to 100. I'm from New York.
For them, it was simply good music and a chance to represent their city on a song that was already connecting with audiences. There was no deeper agenda, but 50 Cent didn't see it that way. In his mind, Ja Rule had pulled off a clever move. By placing Fat Joe and Jadakiss on the record, Ja had surrounded himself with respected New York figures, quietly reclaiming credibility through association.
And I'm saying, stay away from him. Stay away from him. They go, I'm from New York. Got 100 guns, 100 clips, and it goes straight to that. And that's what brought Jadakiss.
And in 50's worldview, that crossed a line. Hip-hop beef, to him, was zero sum. If you worked with Ja Rule, you were helping his enemy. And if you helped his enemy, you became his enemy too. By this point in the early to mid-2000s, 50 Cent was in full attack mode across the entire rap landscape. Ja Rule, Fat Joe, The Game, Nas, Mobb Deep, Shine, almost everyone felt his pressure. This wasn't random chaos, it was calculated. 50 understood that controversy kept his name buzzing and maintained his dominance. He wasn't just releasing music, he was controlling narratives. Jadakiss and the LOX represented old guard New York authenticity, razor-sharp lyricism, and a refusal to bow to anyone's authority. That made them perfect targets. By challenging artists with that level of respect and street credibility, 50 was sending a clear message. Nobody was untouchable.
Together.
Jadakiss is a well-liked guy. There's not many people in too many places who doesn't like him.
Things officially crossed from subliminal shots to open warfare when 50 released his second album, The Massacre, on March 3, 2005. The project was a commercial monster, selling 1.1 million copies in just 4 days. But beyond the numbers, it carried a heavy dose of aggression. One track in particular, Piggy Bank, became a centerpiece of his campaign. Produced by Needles, the song was a multi-target diss record where 50 went after Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Shine, Nas, and others in one sweeping attack. Every line was designed to chip away at reputations and expose perceived weaknesses. When he got to Jadakiss, 50 delivered one of the most loaded bars on the record. Jada, don't F with me if you want to eat, cause I'll do you little like Jay did Mobb Deep.
With me, if you want to eat,
He was warning Jada to stay in his lane if he wanted to keep making money and moving freely in the industry. Then he drove the point home by referencing Jay-Z's famous 2001 diss track Takeover, which had seriously damaged Mobb Deep's momentum. The message was, keep pushing, and I'll erase your career the same way Jay erased theirs. That bar also served a bigger purpose. It wasn't only aimed at Jadakiss, it was meant for anyone thinking about standing beside him. 50 was isolating his opponents, turning association into liability. But if Piggy Bank was 50 Cent firing the first real shot, then Jadakiss's Checkmate was the response that changed the entire tone of the beef. It wasn't just a comeback record, it was a statement. Dropping only days after the massacre hit stores, Checkmate immediately let everyone know Jadakiss wasn't just here to survive the exchange. He was here to out-rap 50. And for a lot of hip-hop fans, that's exactly what he did. Jada made a smart move right away by rapping over the instrumental from Air It Out. That wasn't random. 50 had built much of his Murder Inc. diss campaign on aggressive, hard-edged beats just like this. By choosing that same type of sound, Jadakiss was basically flipping 50's own formula back on him, symbolically stepping into his lane and daring him to respond. The track opened with sarcasm dripping from every word. "Congratulations, homie. You made history. 1.1 million in a short week."
You did it, baby. Congratulations, homie. You made history.
Jada was giving 50 his flowers while also setting the stage for what was about to come. From there, he went straight to work, breaking 50 down piece by piece with calm, surgical precision. One of the first shots was psychological. Jadakiss told him, "You don't even feel comfortable in your own skin," suggesting that beneath all the bravado, 50 was insecure and constantly playing a role. Then he hit him where New York pride matters most, reminding everyone, "Never the king of New York, you live in Connecticut." It was a direct jab at 50's residency outside the city, questioning how someone who didn't even live in New York full-time could claim to run it. Jada didn't stop there. He went straight for 50's most famous story, getting shot 9 times, with one of the coldest bars of the entire battle. "Since when has it become cool to get shot and not shoot back?" Then he piled on with another brutal question. "You ain't get shot again yet, so what's your second album about?" Basically clowning 50 for building his whole image around surviving gunshots and daring him to explain where the next chapter of his story was supposed to come from. And then came maybe the harshest jab of all. Jadakiss hinted that 50 was a snitch with a line that cut deep. "I heard you put a couple ninjas behind bars. Premi. I might never sell that much, but you can bet your last 2 quarters I never tell that much."
Well, good niggas behind bars, I might never sell that much. You can bet your last 2 quarters I never tell that much.
Then came another sharp jab at 50's business empire and G-Unit camp. "You should just sell clothes and sneakers, cause out of your whole camp, your flow's the weakest." That line questioned both 50's lyrical ability and his leadership, suggesting he was better off sticking to merchandise while letting his artists handle the rapping. What really made Checkmate hit hard was how informed it sounded. Jadakiss didn't feel like someone guessing from the outside. He sounded like someone who knew 50's world inside and out, his music, his business ventures, his living situation, even the dynamics within G-Unit. Hip-hop observers noted that Jada created the impression that he understood his opponent on a deep level, and that gave the diss extra weight. The record caught fire. It climbed to number 56 on Billboard's Hot R&B/Hip-Hop Songs chart, and generated enough buzz that Jadakiss was able to tour off its momentum. More importantly, it shifted public perception. For the first time in the feud, there was a real sense that 50 Cent might be getting out-rapped. 50, of course, wasn't about to take that quietly. He fired back with "I Run New York" alongside Tony Yayo. On the track, 50 went into one of his classic angry rants, threatening to buy Jadakiss's publishing from Puffy. It was classic 50. But by July 2005, Jadakiss decided it was time to bring backup. He linked up with Styles P, his D-Block brother, and dropped Problem Child. This wasn't just another diss record, it was a declaration of crew warfare. Now it wasn't just Jadakiss versus 50 Cent, it was the LOX versus G-Unit. Problem Child came in aggressive from the jump. Styles P and Jadakiss traded verses, each trying to outdo the other in intensity. Styles opened by questioning 50's authenticity, throwing shots at his production setup and what he sounded like without Dr. Dre behind the boards. The track challenged 50's entire persona, his claims to New York dominance, and the idea that he was carrying the city on his back.
Can't really figure this clown out. Where is he from? Jamaica, Queens, Cali, or down south?
Then things spilled outside the booth. A video surfaced on whatshood.com showing Jadakiss outside in Yonkers. When asked about his beef with 50 Cent, Jada didn't sugarcoat anything. He said F 50 and called him a coward.
Fuck 50, man. 50's a coward. Where's he at?
Once Jadakiss and Styles P officially stepped into the ring, the beef stopped being a one-on-one situation.
Play solo, after work, at your own pace. No stress. World of Warships is naval combat without pressure. You command legendary warships and battle AI-controlled enemies. No rankings, no toxicity. Just you, your ship, and the calm of the open sea. World of Warships, a game made for adults.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Add solutions that meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. Wix.
Turned into a full crew war. D-Block closed ranks immediately, and everybody started picking sides. J Hood was one of the first affiliates to jump in, dropping a diss called Hey 50, keeping pressure on G-Unit and making sure 50 knew this wasn't just Jadakiss talking anymore. Lloyd Banks fired back from the G-Unit camp with Death Wish, making it clear that 50 wasn't standing alone either. At this point, it felt like every few weeks someone was releasing another record aimed across the fence. Sheek Louch didn't even wait for a direct diss from 50. He moved off pure loyalty. Over time, Sheek released multiple mixtapes packed with 50 Cent shots, including tracks like Bag 'Em Up, Body Blows, and his own version of Hey 50. It was pure LOX energy. Sheek even took it to BET's Rap City in 2006, where during his freestyle he went straight at 50 Cent on national television.
So Curtis just ratting. He ain't no thug, he just do a lot of brat.
50, of course, wasn't backing down. He kept the psychological warfare going through G-Unit Radio. On G-Unit Radio, Part 15, Are You a Window Shopper? He took things to another level with the cover art alone. In the background were rappers he had beef with at the time, Nas and Ja Rule, and off to the left you could see Jadakiss standing next to Fat Joe wearing a Burger King t-shirt. 50 was calling Jadakiss broke, labeling him a window shopper, somebody who looks but can't afford. Then he made it official on Wax. 50 dropped the diss version of Window Shopper, where he directly referred to Jadakiss as a window shopper alongside Nas, Fat Joe, and Ja Rule. Not long after, G-Unit Radio Part 21, Hate It or Love It dropped. And on the track, 5 Heartbeats, featuring Tony Yayo, 50 took more shots at Jadakiss, keeping the tension alive and making sure nobody forgot the beef was still active. Even with G-Unit applying pressure from all angles, hip-hop purists were saying the same thing. D-Block just felt tighter, more cohesive, more unified lyrically. Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek moved like a real unit, not just artists under one banner. Every response felt coordinated, like a crew protecting its name. Things got interesting on February 1st, 2007, when 50 Cent appeared on Hot 97 for an interview with Angie Martinez. During the conversation, Styles P unexpectedly called in. At first, it was surprisingly calm. They talked about the music industry, business, and how things had changed. But then Styles told 50 he had forgotten where he came from. That's when the energy shifted.
I don't need to have the 6 cars in my lot.
No, I need them. You know, that's what we changed. That's where I changed that. Let me tell you something. Like, I agree. If you say that I'm a different person, and they say that money don't change them, they just didn't make enough.
All y'all rappers is like that now. It's like
you mean the ones that made some money?
Cars, this and that. What about the people back in the ghetto? We all came from where your mother and father.
And everybody's trying to get out of there.
Still, instead of exploding on air, they kept it relatively respectful. By the end of the call, both agreed they would finish the conversation face-to-face later.
Yeah, we're gonna talk at the office.
Yeah. Are you really? Do you really?
Yes.
Styles. So many business owners still run it with emails, spreadsheets, group chats. That's why we started using Connecting. Everything's automated, customized. It's too simple.
And it works?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe it. My team puts in their availability, I click auto schedule, and boom, there it goes. No more Excel, no more phone calls, no more group chats. Oh, perfect schedule like that.
Damn, so all you gotta do is post it.
Yeah, my team loves that it's just one app, so they see their shifts, they can approve it, and I know it's covered.
But wait, what if there's like a last minute change? I mean, that's the afternoon gone, right?
So in that case, I just blast a shift for my team to claim. Everyone sees it, and I just assign the first one to pick it up. It literally takes 2 minutes. I'm telling you, it's all in the app. So they clock in, I can see who's working, who's late in real time, and their hours go straight to their timesheets, so I don't have to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to say, I used to spend 3 days prepping timesheets for payroll. Now it takes, what, half a day tops?
Nah, I gotta check this out.
You should.
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC next to your business name? Say hello to Taylor Brands. Just go to their site, enter your LLC state, choose your business name, answer a few questions, and that's it. Now your business has tax flexibility and personal asset protection. Plus, it's approved by the state. And it took you what, 3 minutes?
As business owners, we can't waste any time. That's the advantage of using Taylor Brands. They get you your time back.
Taylor Brands handles everything from forming an LLC, your EIN, opening a business bank account, taxes and bookkeeping, your registered agent, and more. Is a business builder.
All in one platform for the business owner.
Search for Taylor Brands
and start your business journey today.
Two offices. You can meet me in the hood.
But we come to your hood. I come to your hood.
You all come to my hood. I come to your hood.
Then, on August 14th, 2007, Styles P dropped his mixtape Independence, and the smoke returned. On the tape, both Styles and Jadakiss had fresh diss records aimed at 50 Cent and G-Unit. One of the most notable tracks was Shots Fired, where Jada and Styles accused 50 of ratting on Kenneth Supreme, taking the beef into dangerous territory by bringing snitch allegations into the mix. The final diss on 50 from that project was Miss Jackson, where Jadakiss and Styles P rapped over Outkast's Ms. Jackson instrumental and went directly at 50 Cent.
Tried to diss Kiss to the world, and it's your fault, cause she said she saw you kissing a girl.
By October 2009, both 50 Cent and Jadakiss had moved on to different projects, different rivals, and different phases of their careers. But the tension never officially got resolved. It just faded into the background, until 50 decided he was done with it. 50 then did something that shocked people. One night, he pulled up to Jadakiss's hood by himself. He met up with Jada, and they squashed the beef in person. After that, they went to the studio and hung out for the rest of the night.
He came through one day, he called to say, yo, I'm coming through. He came through by himself. He sat down, kicked it for a few hours.
That moment mattered. In hip-hop culture, showing up alone in your rival's territory is one of the ultimate signs of respect. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, trusting that the history, the mutual understanding, and the code of the streets will protect you. Not long after that late-night meeting in Yonkers, 50 Cent and Jadakiss made a public appearance together, and that was the moment everyone knew the beef was officially dead. Seeing them side by side sent a clear message to the hip-hop world. Whatever tension existed was over.
Check this out. This is impressive right
now
here.
Look at this.
I got Jadakiss. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Come here, look at this. Now I'm starting to look big now. Now we got Jadakiss out here.
Once 50 and Jada buried the hatchet, everything else started falling into place. The rest of both camps slowly followed suit. Sheek Louch and Styles P, who had been some of the loudest voices against 50 and G-Unit, also moved toward peace. The crew war faded away, and what had once been one of the most intense lyrical rivalries of the 2000s quietly came to an end. Looking back on it years later, Jadakiss was honest about how much the beef actually helped him. In an interview, he admitted, "I made a lot of money off the 50 thing. It was a different era. Checkmate actually charted on billboards. I was going on tour off that. That single diss record elevated his profile in a major way. It proved to the industry and to fans that Jadakiss could stand toe-to-toe with the biggest rapper in the world and come out respected. In another interview, Jadakiss explained that out of all the conflicts he'd been involved in, he actually preferred the one with 50 Cent. His reason was simple. It was competitive. It pushed both sides. There was real energy behind it, and it forced everyone to sharpen their skills. Instead of tearing careers down, it helped grow them. That's what makes this beef so interesting in hindsight. Beneath all the insults, diss tracks, and crew shots, there was never real hatred between the two camps. Later on, multiple sources confirmed that 50 Cent had always respected the Lox. To him, they represented authentic Yonkers street culture, the same kind of raw realism he built his own image on. Styles P would later describe the whole situation as lyrical sparring rather than an actual blood feud. From his perspective, it was about competition, not personal destruction. He emphasized that the Lox never viewed it as a street war. It was about bars, wordplay, and proving who was nicer on the mic. Styles also made it clear that the beef wasn't heated the way other rap conflicts had been. There was never a real desire for violence or physical confrontation. It stayed in the music, where it belonged. And eventually, that competitive energy turned into collaboration. A few years later, on May 6, 2014, 50 Cent and Jadakiss released their one and only song together, Irregular Heartbeat, featuring Kid Kid. For fans who remembered the diss records and mixtape wars, hearing them on the same track felt surreal. It was proof that whatever had happened back in the mid-2000s was officially in the past. Then years after that, on September 24th, 2021, 50 Cent revisited the beef during an interview. He explained that he never actually had personal issues with Jadakiss. According to 50, Jada only became a target because of his affiliation with Ja Rule. In classic 50 fashion, it came back to strategy. If you were standing next to his enemy, you became part of the battlefield. After that, there were no more chapters to the story. Both artists had moved on, but the legacy of that beef still holds weight. It gave hip-hop some unforgettable records. It showcased Jadakiss at his sharpest. It showed that even at the height of 50 Cent's power, there were still rappers who could stand up to him and walk away with their careers intact.
They were behind nightclub and SUV. Diddy tells Drake, come here real quick, let me holler at you. Then he gives him a cold two-piece.
They said that they had to push him in a wheelchair back to the... Did he slap Drake at one point?
Yeah, I wasn't there for
you
that.
weren't there, yeah.
I was finished, but they gave me the call the next day and said, yo, your man just smacked Drake. I'm like, huh?
So that was true?
Yeah, that was definitely
This is why he's fighting Drake. When you hit Drake, because he used the beat that he didn't actually
0
use
to
yet.
100.
But it wasn't a hit yet until Drake put the lines on. And he's upset about that because he can't hear it, but he felt like he took something.
On December 2nd, 2025, 50 Cent pulled one of the most ruthless moves any real hater could ever pull by dropping the Diddy docuseries. The series didn't just focus on Diddy's alleged misconduct, it also dug into a bunch of wild industry antics from over the years. The impact was huge too, because the docuseries went on to break records.
But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs.
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip-hop is fine with his behavior.
But fans couldn't help but notice one major thing that was missing, the whole Drake and Diddy drama. And that's interesting, because if the stories are true, the superstar himself might have been one of Diddy's many victims. Let's get into it. Now, aside from the people Diddy was accused of abusing, Drake's name has also come up in the long list of people Diddy allegedly put his hands on. Over the years, headlines have gone back and forth, some saying Diddy hit Drake, others saying Diddy punched Drake. The wording changes depending on who's telling the story, but one thing seems consistent across the board. Something physical did happen between Diddy and Drake. Of course, in typical Diddy fashion, he completely denied that anything like that ever took place.
Like, what made you put hands on Drake?
I did not put hands on Drake.
Oh.
And I do not want any problems with Drake.
But while Diddy was denying everything, 50 Cent did what 50 does best, talking. According to 50, Diddy really did hit Drake, and the reason behind it wasn't random. In 50's version of events, Diddy felt like Drake stole a hit from him. 50 explained that unlike the late 90s and early 2000s, when Diddy had an almost supernatural ability to hear a beat and immediately know it was a hit, that skill doesn't really apply to the current generation anymore. Back then, Diddy could spot a smash from a mile away, but by the 2000s, the game had changed. And according to 50, Diddy just wasn't plugged in the same way. That exact disconnect, 50 claimed, is what sparked the tension between Diddy and Drake in the first place.
Puff can't hear a hit? That's kind of crazy.
He still hear things from back then. This is why he's fighting Drake. When you hit Drake, because he used the beat that he didn't actually
0
use.
to 100.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
What makes this whole situation even crazier is that their beef didn't start with hatred. In fact, it was the complete opposite. The issues between Drake and Diddy go all the way back to 2010, but at that time, they were actually cool with each other. Diddy featured Drake on the song Loving You No More from his 2010 album Last Train to Paris, which was a big deal at the time. Their relationship stayed friendly for years. In 2013, Drake even brought Diddy and Mace out at OVO Fest, and he later described that night as one of the best moments of his life. Drake openly admitted that he looked up to Diddy and that Diddy was one of those artists he admired growing up. But things took a turn in 2014. That year, Drake and Diddy performed together at Club Live in Miami. During the performance, something awkward and now infamous happened. Drake snatched the microphone out of Diddy's hand mid-performance, leaving Diddy briefly grabbing at thin air before bending down to grab another mic. What makes the moment both funny and ironic is that Drake was performing Worst Behavior at the time. So you could say he was very much on his worst behavior and unintentionally living up to the title of the song. Some people believe it was just heat of the moment energy. A crowded club, loud music, adrenaline high. Drake probably didn't even realize what he did until after the performance, if he noticed at all. Others, however, think that moment planted the seed for everything that followed. Whether intentional or not, many fans believe that Mike's snatching incident was the beginning of the end for their relationship. And if that was the spark, the real gasoline came from the beat to 0 to 100. Here's where the story really connects. Producer Frank Dukes, who had worked with Diddy in the past, created the melody for a beat and sent it to another producer, Boy Wonder, often written as Boy Wonder. At the time, Boy Wonder was actually in the studio with Diddy when he received the file from Frank Dukes. Right there in that same session, Boy Wonder built the full beat around the melody, the same beat everyone now recognizes instantly. Boy Wonder offered the beat to Diddy first, but Diddy passed on it. He said he didn't want it. Later on, Diddy changed his mind. He decided he actually did want the beat, but instead of using it himself, he sent it to Drake with a specific plan. Diddy wanted Drake to ghostwrite a song for him on that beat, and also include a verse for himself, with the intention of featuring Drake on the final record.
The 0 to 100 was initially a record that, was my record.
So was it that Drake sent you the song you sent Drake the song for him to get on it for you?
No, for him to ghostwrite for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drake did exactly that. He recorded the song and sent it back to Diddy. And once again, Diddy passed. He wasn't feeling it, so he decided not to use the song at all. This decision pretty much reinforced 50 Cent's point that Diddy could no longer recognize what would connect with this new generation the way he once could, because what happened next changed everything. After Diddy rejected the song, Drake decided to keep it. Instead of letting it collect dust, Drake uploaded 0 to 100 to SoundCloud just to see what would happen. What happened was immediate chaos. The song blew up almost instantly. Released in July 2014, 0 to 100 became one of Drake's biggest songs ever. It didn't just perform well, it dominated. It was everywhere. Fans loved it, critics praised it, and publications started calling it one of the best songs of the entire year.
Play solo, after work, at your own pace. No stress. World of Warships is naval combat without pressure. You command legendary warships and battle AI-controlled enemies. No rankings, no toxicity. Just you, your ship, and the calm of the open sea. World of Warships, a game made for adults.
Life on the track moves fast, but bank fees can move even faster. How to get ahead of them? Join Chime. It's fee-free banking at its best. Plus, you can get cash back on purchases, a higher APY on your savings, and more with direct deposit. It's time to bank smarter. Sign up now.
The track went on to be certified platinum and became a defining record of Drake's career. It had a similar gritty, reflective flow to Started From the Bottom, another Drake classic, and people connected to it instantly. The success was so massive that the song ended up being used in commercials and even became part of the soundtrack for NBA 2K16. To add insult to injury, that same beat Diddy originally passed on was later used on stage at the 2014 BET Hip Hop Awards during the Cypher, putting it right in the center of hip-hop culture. With how successful 0 to 100 ended up becoming, it's really no surprise that Diddy eventually started feeling some type of way about the whole situation. What made it sting even more was the fact that the song didn't just blow up commercially, it also got serious industry recognition. That same year, 0 to 100 was nominated for not one, but 2 Grammy Awards, Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song. At that point, there was no way to spin it. Diddy caught a massive L. Producer Boy Wonder later tried to downplay the entire situation, saying it was really just a misunderstanding. According to him, there was never any malicious intent behind how things played out, and from his perspective, the issue had already been resolved. But even though Boy One Day claimed everything was squashed, Diddy's actions afterward made it clear that the feelings were still very much there. Later that same month in July 2014, Diddy decided to play 0 to 100 during one of his performances. But it wasn't the song choice that stood out, it was the introduction. Before playing the track, Diddy told the crowd that the song had been stolen from him.
I'm gonna play this next beat. I gave this stolen from me. Play that.
That one statement alone said everything. Whatever understanding people thought had been reached behind the scenes clearly didn't match how Diddy actually felt. After that moment, things quieted down for a bit. No public back and forth, no more slick comments, at least not on the surface. That is, until Drake and Diddy crossed paths again at the very same club in Miami where the infamous mic snatching incident had happened months earlier. Both artists were there to celebrate DJ Khaled's 39th birthday party. According to reports, Diddy tried to approach Drake and talk things out regarding the 0 to 100 situation. But Drake wasn't interested. Instead of engaging, he reportedly brushed it off and played it slick, clearly not trying to entertain the conversation. Things might have ended there, but as Drake was leaving the party and getting into his car, Diddy decided to confront him one more time. Drake stepped back out of the car to talk, and that's where the situation completely spiraled out of control. No one knows exactly what was said between the two, but according to multiple insiders, Diddy slapped Drake. Once that happened, all hell broke loose. A huge fight broke out, and during the chaos, Drake reportedly dislocated his shoulder and had to be rushed to the hospital. Some reports even claimed that Drake ended up in a wheelchair afterward.
They said that they had to push him in a wheelchair back to the hotel in Miami.
As expected, Diddy denied ever hitting Drake. But it wasn't just 50 Cent saying otherwise. Multiple insiders also confirmed that the incident did, in fact, happen.
Although there was no footage of this, based on people that I've spoken to close to the situation, Diddy really did punch Drake in the face.
He's like, boy, you wouldn't believe what happened. I'm like, what? Diddy just slapped me. I'm like, where?
Slapped or punched?
VFly is a company that helps your YouTube videos go viral using Google Ads, which is VFly's website. So it turns out that VFly is trustworthy. Beefly is against using bots, and they help you get real people engaged in your content. Easy to promote a video. Click promote a video and paste your YouTube video with 632 views. Click it and click on the word share. Click right there and paste your link like this. Click promote now, and there's the link we just pasted. Besides views, they can help you get more subscribers, likes, comments, webs. So click here, but I'm not cool enough to have one yet. Click preview ad to see how your ad will look like when someone searches on YouTube or when they are watching a related YouTube video like yours and as a commercial on YouTube. At 12:30 in the morning, the video was under review about 20 minutes later. My campaign started 7 hours later with 20 views. Not sure why this says 8, but the campaign completed the same day.
I heard a slap.
What stood out to a lot of people was Drake's response, or rather, his lack of one. Drake never retaliated publicly, but that doesn't mean nothing happened behind the scenes. There were definitely people willing to step in on his behalf. One of those people was Jay Prince. Jay Prince reportedly got involved and warned Diddy to stay away from Drake, making it clear that he considers Drake family.
So let me put these bullet on notice. I let them know Drake is family. And the weak shit from Puffy and Suge is on my radar. Puffy, feeling like he can put his hands on my family, open the doors for his family to be touched.
Anyone familiar with hip-hop knows that when Jay Prince speaks, people listen. That warning alone likely played a big role in stopping the situation from escalating even further. Drake finally addressed the entire situation about a year later. On the song 4 p.m. in Calabasas, Drake appeared to take multiple shots at Diddy. One of the most obvious lines was, "Even had the OGs trying to press me, ha 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 ha, no way out, cause I'm already in it." Diddy is absolutely considered an OG, and the ha 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 is a clear mockery of the way Diddy laughs on his own song, Can't Hold Me Down. The No Way Out line is also a direct reference to Diddy's debut album of the same name. Drake was clearly talking to him without saying name. Drake kept the jabs coming. When he said, take that, that was another direct shot, referencing one of Diddy's most famous catchphrases. He then went even further by comparing Diddy to Leonardo DiCaprio, hinting at how Diddy denied and dodged questions during his Breakfast Club interview. Another line, Drake, will you stop smoking la-la, was also a callback to Diddy and Mace's Can't Hold Me Down. And in the outro of the song, Drake flips Diddy's legendary can't stop, won't stop phrase and even references Diddy's line, I'ma make you dance to this. By the time the song ended, it was clear Drake had said everything he needed to say. After that, the feud seemed to quietly die down, which brings everything back to one big question. Why didn't 50 Cent include this Drake-Diddy feud in the Diddy documentary? As everyone knows, 50 Cent has been on Diddy's neck from the very beginning. Ever since Diddy refused to sign 50 early in his career, Diddy had been firmly on 50's radar.
And a lot of people don't know the story that 50 went to Diddy.
Wix gives you the power of AI to build the website you need. With full business functionality and a design tailored just for you. Customize every element of your website and watch your vision come to life in minutes. Control everything from the biggest tasks to the finest details. Personalized, optimized, ready to go live.
Sora 2 video generation is not available in our region.
It is if you're on Artlist.
Huh?
What?
Sora 2 is now on Artlist. The most advanced AI video model is now available in every region. No invite code needed. Get incredible realism with fully integrated sound.
You keep the frame, I keep the story.
Build your own world with multi-shot stories and character consistency for any genre, all based on your prompt.
By the prompt, we rise!
So go to Artlist and start creating without limits.
50 went to Diddy, we went to for Bad Boy. A lot of people don't know that. We had the meeting, and it was so crazy that Diddy didn't sign him.
The difference is that 50 went on to become one of the biggest rappers of all time, giving him both the money and the platform to consistently apply pressure to Diddy without fear of consequences. But the moment that truly cracked everything came in November 2023. That's when Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend of over 10 years, stepped forward with a lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the entire music industry. In her filing, she accused him of and years of physical abuse behind closed doors. It wasn't a rumor or a blog post this time. It was a legal document, filed in court, with graphic details attached. What stunned people even more than the accusations was how fast it ended. Diddy settled the lawsuit within a single day. To 50 Cent, that speed said everything. This was the moment he felt vindicated. The "I told you so" moment he believed he'd been waiting on since the mid-2000s, when he first started warning people that something about Diddy felt off. While Diddy's legal team worked overtime trying to frame the settlement as not an admission of wrongdoing, 50 went straight to the internet. Then March 2024 happened. Federal agents raided Diddy's properties in Los Angeles and Miami. Footage spread everywhere, and when images surfaced showing Diddy's sons being detained during the raid, 50 didn't hesitate. He posted a photo with a caption along the lines of, "Stuff just got real. The feds in all the cribs. They even got the kids in cuffs." As more details leaked out, the internet latched onto one specific detail from the searches. Agents reportedly discovered firearms and illegal substances. But what really set social media on fire was the claim that investigators found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant inside the homes. To 50, it felt like the punchline to a joke he'd been telling for years. He mocked Diddy relentlessly, joking that he was glad to be in good company because at least he didn't have thousands of bottles of lubricant lying around his house. As the legal pressure mounted, testimony began to surface that painted a much darker picture of Diddy behind the scenes. In May 2025, during federal court proceedings connected to the investigation, a former assistant named Capricorn Clark took the stand and described a chilling incident from years earlier. According to her testimony, after a tense exchange involving 50 Cent, Diddy allegedly told people around him, "I don't like all the back and forth. I like guns." Clark claimed that Diddy told music executive Chris Lighty that he was carrying a weapon specifically because he had a problem with 50 Cent. For 50, this was the moment that tied everything together. While Diddy had spent years presenting himself as the calm, polished mogul on television, court testimony suggested a very different mindset behind closed doors. When news of the testimony broke, 50 did exactly what people expected. He laughed, publicly. He posted an AI-generated image of himself looking terrified with a caption joking about needing to stop everything because Puffy's got a gun. Later, he followed it up with another post mocking the idea that he needed to lay low, saying he'd probably just hide out at a playoff game that night. But underneath the humor was something more calculated. 50 understood that winning this war wasn't about diss tracks anymore. It was about shaping the historical record. For months, he joked about doing a documentary exposing Diddy. Most people assumed it was just another troll. Then 50 shocked the industry by announcing that his production company was actually making a documentary focused on the allegations surrounding Diddy, and he sold the project, titled Sean Combs: The Reckoning, to Netflix. That move changed everything.
That you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project? Well, was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage? No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Diddy's team immediately fired back, calling the documentary a shameful hit piece and claiming Netflix had relied on unauthorized material. But 50 didn't flinch. He had the platform, the reach, and the timing. The series featured interviews with alleged victims, never-before-seen footage, and a deep dive into the accusations surrounding Diddy's private lifestyle and alleged behavior. Then came the coldest move of all. To promote the documentary, 50 sat down for an interview with Good Morning America. When asked why he chose ABC, 50 explained it plainly on social media. ABC is one of the few networks commonly available in federal detention facilities. He wanted to make sure that if Diddy was watching television, he would see 50 telling the world his version of the story.
People know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television.
As legal proceedings continued, Diddy was eventually found guilty on charges related to transporting individuals for illicit activity and sentenced to several years in prison. In response, 50 posted a mock letter addressed to the judge, jokingly warning him that releasing Diddy back into the public would be dangerous. He added that Diddy would probably just return to hiring escorts and keeping most of the baby oil away from civilians. Even then, Diddy reportedly stuck to his long-standing kill them with kindness approach. In December 2025, after the documentary aired, 50 claimed Diddy sent him a bouquet of flowers at a club where he was performing. But 50 didn't see it as peace. He posted the flowers online, calling the gesture creepy and asking why there was so much foreplay. He reminded everyone that he was 90s grimy and didn't trust friendly gestures from people he viewed as threats. To him, it felt less like reconciliation and more like a quiet warning. Even Diddy's son, King Combs, tried to step in. He posted online that if he ever saw 50 Cent, he'd slap him. But 50 just dismissed him. "Lil bro," he wrote, "close your damn mouth. I've been rich 3 different times. You still living off Wi-Fi and legacy? Relax." And just like that, the entire feud was summed up.
Can I get a Bud Light? Sorry, the bar's not open yet. Oh, it's not for me. It's for the bride. She said, can I get the clean, crisp taste of a Bud Light? Her words, not mine. She wants 3.
She wants more of those deviled eggs, too.
Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
I started a journey with Hims to not doubt whether or not I would be able to perform. It just boosts your confidence about 3,000%.
Get your confidence back with convenient ED treatment. Start today at hims.com.
Like, why is it like guaranteed that we're getting lies?
Yeah, because it's the game talking. And this is not a shot at him, but he's very extra. Like he lie. Everybody know he but they be good lies though.
And I used to think Eminem was better than me.
So what you saying right now?
He's not. Challenge. Hey, challenge it.
Game, you don't want to go versus against
Yes,
Eminem.
I do.
Spoke about Game, and was there anybody that you felt like you left on stage, or you was good with it?
No, I was good. It was perfect.
If self-sabotage was a Compton Pyru, it'd be the Game. Dude went from being one of the coldest in the rap game with classic projects to turn into a prime example of wasted potential. Between the petty beefs, goofy antics, and cap stories, he stayed in his own way.
What? You
That's not
photoshopped yourself
fair.
on someone else and put a picture out with you and Pac. It's Pac, but it's not you.
And of course, industry peers to former friends, everyone has exposed the lies, called out the clout chasing, and painted a picture of someone who couldn't stop tripping over his own ego. Let's break it all down. Now, there's no doubt that the Game didn't come from a soft background. He grew up surrounded by the streets, and his family was deep in that life. He even almost lost his life to it. But one of the biggest problems a lot of people in the industry have with him is his tendency to exaggerate, embellish, or straight up lie about his past, just to make himself seem harder than he really was. And one of the wildest examples of this is the long-standing rumor that the Game was a male stripper before he got into the rap game. This rumor has been floating around for years, and at one point, a photo even surfaced of him wearing what looked like a thong, which only added fuel to the fire. 50 Cent, of course, was one of the loudest voices calling him out over it. During their beef, 50 used G-Unit radio to clown the Game repeatedly about his alleged stripper past. The Game didn't take that lightly, and as expected, he went into full denial mode. He said the photo was fake, claimed it was photoshopped, and even accused 50 of being behind it all in a bid to destroy his image.
Somebody put my fucking head on a stripper's body, bro. Like, and I want to say it was 50, bro. But like, what? Like, get the out of here. That's crazy, bro.
But even if someone wanted to say 50 was just being petty, it didn't take long for people who knew the Game before he blew up to come forward, and one of the most damning confirmations didn't even come from a hater or a rival. It came from the game's own stepfather, Hodari Sababu. In a documentary about the history of hip-hop in Compton, Sababu spilled some details the game probably wishes never saw the light of day. According to him, he and the game's mother used to run a male exotic dance club. The whole idea behind the club was to give away for guys fresh out of jail to make money. A lot of these men were recently